If there is one thing that I get asked frequently, it is, when are we going to see a 6.5-inch speaker adapter for the Indian Chieftain and Roadmaster models? I'm here to tell you today, they will be coming. If you watched our last video when we went over the V2 build of our Indian shop Chieftain, then you heard me discuss that we would be pursuing and starting the process to making a 6.5-inch adapter, actually not just one but two, for the Indian Chieftain and Roadmaster models. So that is what we're doing today. I wanted to start this video series. It's going to be a series throughout the process. I wanted to show y'all what goes into it and how we're going about doing it. That way, hopefully throughout this series, if you guys have any suggestions or comments or advice, you can drop it in the videos, because we're gonna be showing you the process as we do it. Kind of live time, it might be a day or two delayed, but at the end of the day, it will be fairly close to when we shoot the videos and we give them to y'all. So let me grab a few things, and I want to discuss the process that we're going to use and show you why I want two different versions of these speaker adapters for y'all. I want to start by discussing why I want two different versions of these. The first reason is I understand that not everybody wants a full-blown audio package from us. I understand that there are a lot of people that are 100% content with power band Gen 1s or 2s. And I will say, I think Indian Motorcycle Corporate, y'all did a phenomenal job with the Gen 2 power bands. I was really impressed with the output that you guys did on that. And I think for an OEM plus speaker, that's what we consider it, it's a phenomenal option for people. So that's what we want to focus on with the first version of these speaker adapters is, now mind you, this is a Gen 1, but we are going to model these 6.5-inch adapters off of the power band speakers. And there's going to be two parts to this. One, we're going to make the speaker adapter pod to house a 6.5-inch power band. We're going to go out and purchase a set of the Gen 2 power bands, because if you already know, we make a 6.5-inch speaker pod for the Pursuits and the Challenger OEM lowers, which are from the factory 5.25. But for customers that want to go to a 6.5 but have the power bands, there's no grill option, because Indian did something kind of smart here. The way they have their tweeter bridge here, and even on the Gen 2s, they have a weird tweeter bridge, which I think that one's even more elongated, but they have a different surround here, so there's no aftermarket grill option that I've found that will actually work with that. So not only are we going to be making our own speaker enclosure pod for these bikes, we're going to be making a speaker grill to go over these that will allow anybody that has a Chieftain or a Roadmaster, wants to upgrade to the power band 6.5s, you're going to be able to. That kit's going to come with the speaker enclosures, the grills, and a small wiring adapter, because with us pushing this out, I want that adapter so you guys can just plug them in. So it'll give you all a 100% plug and play option to put 6.5s in your Chieftain Roadmaster fairing, which will be a good upgrade over the 5.25s. So that's one reason we're doing two versions. I wanted to make sure that we covered the whole spectrum of customers on this. I don't want to just pigeonhole people into one option. That's not what I'm about. We offer a particular product, and that is for the people that want something over OEM plus and wants a complete plug and play package. As plug and play, let me preface that. Version 2, we are going to be building this package off of the Cicada Audio compression horn style. This is their CH speaker. And let me start by saying, this isn't the only speaker that you can run in it. I'm trying to find the speakers that have larger magnets, a very big depth, so that way this will fit a whole line of speakers. When we clearance it for this speaker, this should fit this speaker, the Diamond Audio MP series, which is similar, the Bema, hopefully Euphoria. It will open it up to a wide variety of speakers. So the reason for two different speaker pods is because this is so much bigger. This is going to require customers to have ape hanger handlebars like we have on this bike, because I need to clearance the speaker grills. There's not going to be any room for OEM bars, most likely, to be pushed up into the fairing, because you're already super close to the grills. The reason for going to a speaker like this is these speakers have a phenomenal output to them. Like, we love these speakers in the Fairing. They're super efficient, they're loud, they get you what you need. This is one of our favorite speakers that we use, as you guys already know. And when we do our adapters for this, we offer aftermarket grills that already go with this, so we don't need to make that. It's just gonna offer you to go from a 5 1/4 to a 6 1/2. And it's gonna improve your sound quality drastically. Another cool thing is about how we're designing these. It's gonna use the OEM enclosure that's sitting here and here. And these pods are, what we're hoping for is that these pods are 100% direct bolt-on, no modification required. At best, you might wanna get them painted to your bike. We might not offer the paint services for that to match them, as y'all already know. Paint matching Indians is not easy. That's where we go to either your local dealership or Witch Doctors offers a bunch of their paint that makes your life way easier, makes a painter life way easier, because you're not trying to match a paint that's difficult to match from the get-go. I want to talk about the process in which we're going to go with this. So clearly you see we already have a Chieftain. So this is going to be our bike, as you already know, has a full-blown aftermarket audio system. We're going to use this really as a testing mule for this setup. So as soon as we get done making the prototypes, they're going to go on this bike. We're going to put 6 1/2s in them. We're going to test them and see how it sounds before we start putting these into production or into the 3D printing phase. So what that starts with is our inner fairing that we have here. Now this is the exact same inner fairing that came off of this bike. I ordered this. It's actually paint matched to this bike because that's what they could get me. You can see it's all taped up. So what our plans are for this is we're gonna clean up the tape a little bit here, but we are actually going to use a mold release on this area, and I'm gonna fiberglass the whole inside of this on both sides, because what I want to do is we need a good solid base for the speaker adapter. So you'll see this whole part will be fiberglassed all the way up into here, all the way up to around the lip. We're gonna fiberglass because I want a good solid base. That way we can make the speaker adapter part up here and mold the two pieces together. That brings me to another good point is, one, these tabs right here. I want to make this to the point where you don't have to cut those off, as I want this reversible. So we're going to try to capture these so they get hidden. How we're going to do that, I don't know yet. I'm literally just telling y'all what my thoughts are on this and how we're going to go about making this. So essentially we're going to take fiberglass this, and for the speaker ring, I'm going to 3D print speaker spacer or speaker rings with a lip on it. So that way it will compensate for the size of the speaker and the grill, so that by the time we fiberglass everything, get it all in there, the grill should be flush with the adapter. I don't want a speaker adapter pod with a grill that's going to sit out, you know, way above it. It just looks goofy. I want something nice and flush. I want it to flow. That's our intentions here. And when I discussed OEM mounting, there are 4 screw holes here, you know, all the way around, and then the speaker enclosure is behind here. My intention for this design is that they will load from the front. You'll use the 4 OEM screws here. This will be cut out, so that way the enclosure is being used, and then you would run your wire through this, load your speaker from the front into our speaker pod adapter, and everything would screw from the front. So it doesn't require you to break the fairing down. You don't take everything apart. I want this as serviceable as possible. So that brings it to another point of one thing that's super, super important to me is the aiming of the speakers. A lot of people might think, well, what's the point of that? Well, there's a huge difference when your speaker is facing straight back on the bike, or if the speaker is facing you, the rider. I'm really looking for the speaker to hit you either in the nose or in the ears, because I want that sound coming right at you. So from angling it correctly, time alignment, proper setting up of the system, it should be a huge increase, sound phenomenal on the bike. To accomplish that, we went and we bought some very small laser pointers. I'm gonna 3D print again a bridge that's going to go on the speaker, hold that tweeter or that laser pointer, so that when we put it in here and we clearance it here all the way around, I can sit on the bike, have Bill angle the speaker, hit it where I want it, so that way both speakers are hitting where I want it. I don't want any guesswork. I don't want one slightly canceled off than the other. I want to make sure that the speakers are hitting where I want them to go. So that's going to come down to the Cicada ones, the power band version, which even the power band version will allow people to run like a smaller coax speaker like the Cicada CXX that y'all know we love to use. Phenomenal speaker as well. It's going to open up the spectrum for a lot of things. I mean, besides that, that's really the process in which I envision this going. And actually, I didn't even talk about the other part of it. So once we actually make these pods, I'm going to fiberglass these pods. I want to make a pair per. We're going to completely fiberglass and make sure the thickness is correct, how we want them. We'll do our body fillers, smooth them out, get them as finished as we can, minus the paint. And then that's where it's going to come into us 3D scanning these. That way I can take them, put them into the software, reverse engineer them so we can 3D print these in-house. I'm trying to keep as much of this in-house as possible because I am a stickler for quality control. I want to make sure if we're going to be selling a product like this that y'all are going to be using, you guys are going to be trusting us on, I want to make sure that these hold up to the test of time. They're not just going to fall apart, that they don't have a bunch of defects. So we're going to be doing that whole process, and I'm going to be 100% transparent with y'all. I have never reverse engineered anything like that. I have the 3D printers, I have the 3D scanner, I have the software. Y'all are going to be figuring it out with me. So it's going to be kind of a journey. I'm making this video because, one, I've been talking myself out of doing this for a while. I've doubted that I could even do this. So this is me putting it out there so we have some sort of an accountability on making this happen, because I've been talking about it for over a year, and this is the furthest right here that we've ever gotten with it. So we're going to make this happen. We're going to provide you guys 2 different versions of 6.5-inch pods. And again, these are going to simply remove your factory grill, 2 bolts here, pop it out, 4 bolts, pop your speaker out, disconnect it. Our pod will load from the front, 4 bolts in here through the speaker opening, the 6.5, load your speaker, do all your wiring connections, and you're good to go. You're going to get a huge increase over your 5 1/4. It's going to sound absolutely amazing in my opinion, and it's going to help take the Chieftain and the Roadmasters audio-wise to a level that it's been missing. I don't blame Indian for what they did. I think with what they had in the body lines of what they were looking for, they nailed it. This bike's beautiful. I love the look of the Chieftain. I want a bigger speaker. A lot of people do. So we're going to go ahead and do it because nobody else wants to, and I'm going to bring the best quality one to the market. That's just what we're going to do. I hope I answered the questions y'all might have about these 6.5-inch adapter pods in the process in which we're going to go through this. The next video, we're going to be starting the fiberglass process and maybe do some 3D printing. Maybe I'll show you the fiberglass process and printing the 3D, what the rings are going to look like for these speakers to house them. And then from there, it's just going to be continuous progression as we get all this done. Then in time, you're going to see the final prototypes, and then from there, it's just going to be printing them and getting them out there. I also want to get them out to dealerships too. So if you go buy a brand new bike and you're like, hey, I want the 6.5-inch power bands, they're going to be like, all right, cool. You need these adapters, this wiring harness, and this grill. We can throw power bands in there. It's going to open up so much for y'all and for us. I'm super excited, and I hope you guys enjoy this series, that it shows you a lot of what we want to do, how passionate we are about these motorcycles. And also, if you have any suggestions, comments that you want to relay to us, please drop them in the comments here. We'll read them, we'll respond to you. I appreciate any and all feedback that we can get, because guess what? I don't know everything. So any feedback that I get from y'all helps me make a better product for y'all, period. So I really appreciate y'all's time. I hope you are going to enjoy this build series. We're going to be doing some other really cool prototypes coming up soon too. There's some other 6.5-inch adapters for the Chieftain Roadmaster coming up that Indian doesn't offer. Just saying, y'all can speculate what those are going to be, and I look forward to bringing these all to market for y'all. So I'm Brandon with Davidson Audio, located here in beautiful Panama City, Florida. If you're looking for the best aftermarket audio solution for your Indian, Harley, motorcycle period, make sure you check us out. God bless y'all.